Welcome to AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota, for another episode of Politics Matters, how civics, law, and politics affect you. I'm your host, Bruce Klopfleisch. Thanks for listening to the show. If you have a question or comment about the show, feel free to email it to comment@am950radio.com. So for the first segment of the show, we have an interview, my first interview that I'm doing here live. So we have Philip Anthony on, who has his own show on AM 950 called the Downright Upright Show. And his show is on at 5 o'clock on Saturdays, and mine's on 5 o'clock on Sundays, so we have some similarities there. But Patrick, Philip, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Bruce. I really appreciate that. It was fun hanging out at the debate party at the Park Tavern. It was wonderful to meet you and your family.
Yeah, that was a good time. And the debate was pretty interesting, and things have kind of, at least for the Trump side, have kind of gone downhill since then. But I haven't seen J.D. Vance on TV all that much lately, but that's probably a good thing.
Yes.
So one reason that I wanted to have you on is the name of your show, Downright Upright Show. Is there some story behind how you came up with that name?
Yes, there is. Again, thank you for having me. And congratulations on the show. How long have you been on it?
I started in July, like the first week in July.
It's an amazing show. I was listening to it one day, and that's how I reached out. I was like, wow, this guy's doing it, But the Downright Upright Show, the name, when I was approached about doing the podcast version of the show, I was trying to think of a name that would catch people, and maybe be a little quirky, Bruce, something that's not just the Philip Anthony Show. I mean, that's kind of very boring. So I thought about like a red arrow pointing down.
Okay.
And a blue arrow pointing up, if that image is in your mind, and you understand what it means.
Right.
But then I said, I like that image, but I need a name. So I thought Downright with the down arrow, Upright with the up arrow. And so it's a little quirky political play on words, I guess.
Yeah. Well, yeah, mine's a little longer than that. But with the tagline in there, but, mine's, part of the, what I'm trying to do is the civics, aspect of it. And that's something that when I talked to Chad about doing the show, he thought that was a good idea too, because, that's part of what I do in my job, teaching, college students at the community college level. So,
and I'm glad you brought up Chad, because, both of us have the same story going on here. I mean, he saw potential in the both of us,
right,
and gave us that opportunity to do our shows, our respective shows. So thank you, Chad, if you hear me.
Yeah, we really appreciate the opportunity, which you wouldn't get in some places. So I'm glad that he's able to have both of us on.
Yes, and you're doing an amazing job. I really know you don't like praise, but
I don't mind it.
Anyway.
When the first time I met you, it was at the Park Tavern, and I had heard some of your shows as well. So that was that's kind of how I got involved with the station a little bit. I just went to one of the meet and greets, and everybody was so nice, they talked to me and all that. And that's how I started talking to Chad a little bit, and, kind of just went from there.
Are you feeling fantabulous today?
I am feeling fantabulous today.
I had to throw that in.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I got to come up with some kind of word for my show.
Yeah,
too.
you need a tag word.
Yeah,
a tagline. Like fantastic and fabulous put together twice as nice. Yeah,
there we go.
We'll come up. We'll brainstorm, you and I.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your show. Like, what do you like? What is the focus of your show?
Yeah, thank you for that. Basically, the concept of the show was developed during COVID because I was off for a COVID leave at my job.
Mm-hmm.
And I was baking and cooking, and I'm saying to myself, if I retire, am I going to be doing this? I mean, no. I am a creative. I can't do this, you know?
Right.
So I said, I was watching people doing these podcasts, like sourdough podcast, music podcast, fishing, what have you. And I said, you know what? I like politics, and I like LGBT voices being heard because they're not being heard.
Right.
As you know, I'm a member of that community, and I'm a very happily married man. So I thought that I would, combine those ideas and make a show about it. And I had a couple at the beginning that weren't so great. I sounded I sounded like an automatron, Bruce. Hello. Welcome to
the Downright Upright show. Like AI voice.
Yes. And so it took me a while to grow into my skin, and now I've been on, I think it's almost 3 years, if I'm not mistaken, doing the podcast. And then as of January, I've been on the radio version. So it's been an evolution for me. And I discovered, Philip, just be yourself. Stop being, trying to be, NPR. It's not you. I'm not hello, welcome to NPR. No, I'm not, that's not me. I'm very vivacious. You know me in person. I'm a gregarious person. I love life. I love people. And I just couldn't just sit back and try to be demure.
Right.
That's not me. So, yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So, switching to politics here now, since after all, that's part of the politics show. In the LGBTQ community, what do you think? In this upcoming election, what do you think are, like, from your experience, the important issues that your community is concerned with?
Oh my goodness, Bruce. Thank you for that question. It's crazy what I'm hearing from Project 2025 and what they plan to do.
Yeah, I've had some segments about Project 2025. It's pretty scary.
People, read the damn thing. Stop. It's just no. It's like Tim Walz says, and I love Tim Walz, and he says if they wrote the playbook. In football, you write a playbook.
Right.
If they write the playbook, they're going to use that playbook.
Exactly.
And so the issues for me, is marriage equality. I mean, Clarence Thomas hinted in the Roe decision, the overturning of Roe decision, that the Dobbs decision. Sorry. Yeah, I'll be all right today. And he said that. That's next on the list, So I'm worried because I don't want to be just, living in sin again. I was happily married since I've been happily married since 2015. And I don't want to be a second-class citizen again, like I was before that. So that's an important thing for me. And then, of course, the trans community, they have a target out on them, Bruce. You know that.
Yeah,
and
they've always had one out.
You know what? And this is what I have to tell your audience, Bruce. If you bring your child to school, as a boy, and you pick them up and they're a girl, you probably picked up the wrong child.
Right.
That's what I say, because that's just not happening. Just like people aren't eating cats and dogs in Springfield. Just like babies aren't being born and slaughtered after they're born by Democrats. Mean, I could go on and on, but it's not even worth it. And so that's what's important this election for me, as far as my marriage. And adoption is another thing, because, we're not going to adopt personally, but doesn't mean that I don't have friends that are considering it and want to have a family.
Well, sure, and Project 2025 basically says no.
No,
you can allow adoption in the same-sex couples. Nope. Sorry.
Because, I was born from, I had two daddies when I was born. There was no mommy around, You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm who I am, regardless of who my parents were. You're going to be who you are.
Right.
And they think that if you have heterosexual parents, all of a sudden you're going to be heterosexual. That's not going to happen all the time because voila, look at me, So, and I grew up in a very religious Catholic family.
Oh, okay.
So I should, if anybody should be, hetero, it should be me.
With many kids.
But yeah,
that's part of their doctrine.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yes. So, right. So so this election is, and it's just, I don't want to be selfish. I am an empath. I believe everybody's freedoms are on the line. That's why she plays Beyonce's freedom, Kamala Harris, when she walks on stage, because women's freedom is on the line.
Oh, for sure.
LGBTs, African Americans, Jewish people, Arab Americans, etc., down the road, Native Americans. Because, he wants to build pipelines right through native lands if he becomes president. So that's a native issue. So it's not just about me. I wish people would stop being so selfish and think about the rest of the community at large.
Well,
right, Bruce?
Yeah, and I think that I've been saying for years that is where, in my view, the Republican Party kind of went off the tracks. Yeah. Is they're all, like now it's just all about the individual. Me, 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 me. Nothing about us.
Me, yeah.
Yeah, nothing about us, nothing about helping your neighbors, nothing about what Jesus says to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's another thing that, I get tired of hearing is, the Republicans are, this religion party and all this stuff, but their actions are not what Jesus says to do in the Gospels. Matt says that all the time on his show, and I've been saying that too. It's like, but it doesn't seem to matter to them.
No. And as a person who is Christian,
yeah, me too.
My husband is Christian. I have family members that are Christian. We don't want to, control you and tell you to be Christian if you're not. We just believe in freedom of and from religion. So that's what the Constitution does. I mean, when the Pilgrims came here, they were escaping persecution, right?
Right.
I mean, if you know, right. Mm-hmm. So they didn't come here to be coerced into being, an evangelical. No, they came to escape the abuses. They were, people were not accepting them for who they were, and they came here to become free from that. So that's what we have to remember. Look at your history, and you'll learn something.
Yeah, and this election is one of the reasons why, I wanted to do this show is at least my little extra work, if you will, to try and, have the Democrats win, because like you said, they're talking about freedom, and the Republicans, at least they like to talk about freedom, but their actions certainly don't lead to that conclusion. So, this is at least my little attempt to do it and make a difference, hopefully.
Yeah, that's why I keep saying, when I heard your show for the first time, I said, this guy is doing exactly what I'm doing, except he is doing, the talking about the platform of the Democratic Party at large. I zero in on certain things, because I'm LGBTQ, but I do listen and I do respect other people and their wishes and their freedoms in this country. But I don't see that on the other side. I really don't. I really don't. I mean, look at that crazy nut that's running in against Amy Klobuchar.
Royce White.
Right, yeah. Thank you. I didn't even want to say his name, but oh my God, just listen to him, folks. I mean, it'll speak for itself if you just sit down in front of your TV or radio and listen to what he's saying. If you still want to vote for him, well. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, we can't help you there, I guess, in the end. It's just like, I've said that about Trump, too. And so has Kamala Harris. Like, well, just listen to one of his rallies. I mean, it's just
Now he's saying that he wants to round up people like you and I who don't agree with his policies and his politics.
Right.
He said that, and Laura Ingraham was trying to say, no, you don't really mean that. And
I do.
Saying, yes, I do. So.
Yeah, he's Hannity's tried to get him to tone down from his dictator talk and some other stuff, but he just keeps stepping in it. And yet he's going to get millions of people to vote for him, unfortunately. Yes. But we just have to get more people out there and have more votes than he gets.
It's turnout, Bruce. It's turnout. That's why everybody listening, go to the Minnesota Secretary of State website. If you haven't registered yet, you still have time. Register to vote. Now, if you get turned down at the polls, you can get a ballot as well. What do they call it? The name is escaping me.
Provisional ballot.
Thank you. I'm having a senior moment. A provisional ballot, and you can say, I would like a provisional ballot. So never say, they cannot turn you away. They just can't. So do that and bring 3 friends. Have a party at your house. This is what I say, and say let's go to the city hall or wherever you're voting, and let's vote and pick up a ballot and vote. We'll be doing society a great favor. So do that, people.
Yeah, and that's a part of how I see when I'm looking at the potential of a Trump victory. Heaven help us if that happens, but
oh my God,
this is I think a tipping point to you hear all the time the founding fathers, and Ben Franklin I guess has attributed this quote about, well, we gave you a democracy if you can keep it, and I think we're at a time right now where if you want a democracy, you got to vote for Harris, whether you're a Republican or not. If you want a democracy to go away and have a dictator and an authoritarian, or fascist, whatever you want to call it. That's what you're going to get when, if Trump gets elected.
Yeah, that's why Adam Kinzinger, Liz Cheney, Mark Milley, all these people that were in his orbit, they were Republicans at one time, saw him for what he really is. They were afraid because I think his chief of staff, John Kelly, is his name John Kelly?
Yes,
so.
one of his chiefs of staff. Yeah,
well, that's true. Called him the F word, a fascist.
Right.
And that blew me away. I mean, your own chief of staff, your own vice president is not even supporting you. What else do people have to know to not vote for this person?
Right.
It's shocking.
Yep. And we're less than 2 weeks to go now.
Yes.
So.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So,
and are you afraid? Do you think she's going to win or lose, or what do you think? Do you have any opinion?
Well, I think she's going to win. I don't think it's going to be like
a pretty picture,
a blowout or anything. I think there's going to be all kinds of election shenanigans pulled, even more than in 2020. Even though there were 60-some lawsuits in 2020, that was like a trial run for. I can see them pulling out all kinds of things. They've already started trying to kick people off, voting rolls and closing, early voting places and all this sort of stuff. So, I think there's going to be some issues afterward. But what also I'm concerned with or about is the Republicans winning the Senate. Because, we have, it's 51-49. Joe Manchin's gone, so the Republicans are going to get that seat. So that's 50-50.
That's automatic, yeah.
And then, if you believe the polls, and I'm not a big poll guy, as I say on my show, because polls do not turn out for elections, right? And John Tester in Montana is, at least if you look at the polling, is down. Montana.
Well, Sherrod Brown has good news. I mean, I read a Sherrod Brown poll that looks like he's going to win. So keep your fingers crossed with that state. But again, if those two flip and we don't get any other ones, they will be up by one seat. And, but Colin Allred is doing really well in Texas. So and then the crazy person that's running for governor in North Carolina, Johnson, I believe his name is.
Mark Johnson. Yep.
Yep. He's running for governor. And I'm hoping that it percolates. They don't like him, so it percolates up, and they'll say, you know what, I'm not going to vote because they're all a bunch of nuts. So that's my hope. So if we get North Carolina, that's a flip. And if we get Texas, which is a flip, then it's back to the way it is now. So that'd be great.
Yeah, and I think there, you could see a few other surprises, like Lucas Kuntz is doing pretty well against Josh Hawley in Missouri. Again, if you believe the polls, but I've seen enough polls from red states saying the Democrats are close, and then on election day they lose by 5 or 6%. So again, it's all about turnout. But
Josh Hawley, I mean, they're really going to the man who gave a thumbs up to those insurrectionists, and he was like a little baby. They have a video of him running like a little baby out of the Capitol because they're telling him, get out, they're coming, and they have the video of him just like he's the first one out the door.
One out. Yeah. Right.
And he gave his thumb up. So, I mean, we're fighting an uphill battle. I mean, there's a lot of disinformation. A lot of people are listening to the echo chambers that they watch Fox or Newsmax and OAN and, whatever other places they get their news. And they're being fed a pack of lies. And, the fairness doctrine was an amazing law that was overturned. And I think we should bring it back. I really do. I think we need to have two sides of the coin on every show. We can't have these people lying straight through their teeth,
Well, yeah, and the Supreme Court has basically said, you can lie all you want with political speech, and they've certainly taken advantage of that. And they show no signs of changing that. So, Philip, I got one last question for you because we're coming up at the end of our segment here. So we've talked about national elections. Do you have any thoughts about the Minnesota legislature? Have you seen anything that? I mean, I kind of think we're going to keep the House and the Senate as Democrats, but it's tight.
Yeah, well, the Senate candidate, there's one Senate seat open. Yeah. She's amazing. Yeah. I've seen her on TV talking and explaining what she wants to do for her constituents, and she's just incredible. Listen, just again, like I said before, listen to what they say. People. Right. Don't just vote because it has an R next to it. Listen to what they say. All right, and I think she's got that seat. I hope.
Yeah.
And the rest, and then the House. It looks good, but I don't want to be cocky about it. But just go out and vote.
Yeah, that's the thing. You got to do it.
Polls don't vote. You do.
That's right. All right, Philip. Well, thanks for coming on the show. Really appreciate it.
Oh, Bruce, you're amazing. And congratulations on your show. It's amazing. Everybody listen to Bruce's show on Sunday at 5 and listen to my show Saturday at 5, and you'll get a lot of great information.
All right. Well, I look forward to being on your show next month. So I hope it's good news after the election.
Oh, God. That's what we're going to be talking about.
Right.
Which way is the wind going to blow? Yeah,
right. All right, Philip. Good to talk to you.
Yeah, take care now, my friend.
You too. Bye now.
Take care. Bye.
Welcome to AM 950, the Progressive Voice of Minnesota, for another segment of Politics Matters, how civics, politics, and law affect you. I'm your host, Bruce Klopfleisch. Thanks for listening to the show. Today I have a guest on, so I'm doing back-to-back interviews here, so this is a first for me. And I have Jen Fox on.
Hello.
Hi, Jen. She is running for the House District 41B. Jen, can you tell us a little bit about the district? Like, where is it?
Yeah, absolutely. Our district is Hastings, all of the city of Hastings,
okay.
Cottage Grove, Denmark Township, and Nenninger Township.
And did that get changed during redistricting, or is
it did? Yeah. We gained a little bit of area. We lost a little bit of area. It became a little bit more politically I guess, isolated. So it's harder for Democrats to run down here now.
Oh, okay.
Is what I've heard. I don't know.
Yeah. So I looked a little bit at some of the prior history there. So this is a seat that the DFL is trying to flip, correct?
Yes, it is. It is both the A and the B side, and the Senate District 41 are potential flips for the DFL, and we're working so hard to get that done.
Right. So how is the DFL party helping you out here?
Oh, that's a great question. Besides like normal advice and help to find vendors and specifically union vendors, I work with a field staff, so 2 field organizers as well as a regional field director and a field director to figure out who to target and where to go and when. Right. And that's super helpful, right? Because we know that the way to win elections is door knocking, but we don't want to be wasteful with our one resource, which is time, and our other resource, which is voter engagement. So we're trying really hard to make sure right now at this point, late October, our whole goal is get out the vote. And one thing that I know you've talked about is early voting. And so many folks in Minnesota have already voted, which is really inspiring. And I do end most of my get out the vote conversations with voters. I do not care who you vote for. I would love your vote in November or early. It's very important to me that you trust my leadership. And as long as you vote, we're going to be in a good place. As long as everyone gets out there to vote. And Secretary of State Steve Simon is working really hard to make us #1 in voting again this year.
Yep.
And I think Georgia's going to give us a run for our money in that. They're really early voting down there too.
Oh yeah, they got some big numbers, and I heard Wisconsin had some big numbers yesterday.
Yeah.
So,
and even I'm on Hastings City Council, and I'm at City Hall quite often for meetings and to do what City Council people do. Right. And I stopped in there yesterday, and I heard that over 110 people voted early by like 3 p.m. So super fun numbers coming out of our district, super fun numbers coming out of Minnesota. It makes me very encouraged for the nation that everyone is voting, it seems like.
Right. Well, let's hope so. I mean, I keep telling people, and I say it on my show all the time, that, polls don't vote.
Right.
So people vote. So, I don't know, I think Democrats are kind of famous for being nervous and all these poll results and all this. And I keep trying to tell people, well, no, you can't really go by what the polls say. And a lot of them, they're within the margin. They're within the margin of error anyway. It's like it all boils down to getting out to vote. That's the key thing.
It really is. And we're so fortunate in Minnesota and in a lot of states in the nation that we have access to early voting, so that we can actually get some results on election night, hopefully.
Right. Yeah, because some states were probably not. And
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So one of the themes of my show is on the civic side of things, which involves people running for office and stuff. So what kind of got you to say, I'm going to give this a shot this year for a House seat? Well,
I've been encouraged to run by the DFL for several years now.
Okay.
I have good experience in state government, and now I have experience as an elected official on Hastings City Council. I am a small business owner. That's where I am right now in my brewery.
At the brewery,
in downtown Hastings. And I think some of those, I have my master's degree in public policy too. I often forget to say that.
I was going to ask you about that. So
yeah. So I have actual tangible experience writing policy, writing fiscal notes and like being on the ground in the Capitol, making things happen. So I think that is often what I've heard is that you can find a good candidate or you can find a good policymaker, and never the twain shall meet. And I feel very proud that I can be both. So I've been encouraged to run. It was never something I really was interested in because I love local government. I wrote my master's thesis on the efficacy of local government. I think, pun intended, that is where the rubber meets the road.
Yeah.
And I just love my community so deeply. So I really wanted to grow in this role, in my Hastings City Council role. And over the last year, as I've been taking on more leadership roles within City Council, I was talking with a few friends in the city, and we were talking about like, how are we going to get some of this big stuff done without somebody fighting for us and shouting Hastings on the House floor, and making sure that we have access to bonding resources and we have access to infrastructure resources. And one really important thing in our area here and all over the state is our PFAS in our water. And that's something I've been working on with Hastings for 4 years now. And I have a great idea of what we can do to provide clean water resources in our communities. And I'm really encouraged and really eager to work on that. Long story short, I was talking with a friend about like, how are we going to pay? How are we going to do this?
Right.
What's our angle? And this person was like, well, we need someone to run. And our representative was a one-term representative the past 2 years, and he really didn't want to run again. And so I put my hat in the ring.
And, for prepping for this interview, I read a little bit about the water, issue in Hastings. So I assume that's a big issue in your district?
It is. It's enormous. We, as a city, could potentially have to raise our water rates 200-400% because we are getting no resources. Just in the past couple of weeks, we got some good news. We're getting a little bit of money from 3M.
Yeah.
We're hopefully going to work with Senator Pappas to be in the bonding bill. And we're gonna just keep fighting. And we're trying like heck to avoid raising our water rates locally that significantly. But I do want to mention my friends on the other side of the river in Cottage Grove. They also have PFAS. Just because they were a part of the 3M settlement in 2018 does not mean that they are out of the water, I guess. In terms of clean water access, they have totally different needs than Hastings. We have an integrated well system. So if we have the money to build mitigation systems, we can have clean water within 5 years. They have lots of different issues, including private wells, septic. They don't have a full system like we do. So they're going to have to build a different kind of mitigation system, and they haven't done that yet. So there are lots of issues across the state. My friends in Denmark Township have private wells and septic, and my friends in Nininger Township are almost exclusively private wells, but mostly farmers too. So what do we do with our irrigation systems, and how do we make sure that individuals are cared for? So I wanted to highlight the other communities within my district and mention that it is not just Hastings who will struggle financially.
Right.
It is everyone. So
how bad is it in Hastings? Like, what are your goals for fixing the problem? I mean, how much is it?
Thank you for actually asking that.
Sure.
We talk a lot about the problem. We don't often talk about solutions, right? So what I really think we need to do, I'm going to start here. So everyone in Minnesota has PFAS. We're like no one. It is in our soil. It is in our rain. We have PFAS all over. The studies are still coming out about what that does to our bodies. What we know is like the level of PFAS that I have right now, that you probably have, Bruce, sorry to tell you, is stable. So it's not like we're like gaining more in our bodies. And this information is all from the Department of Health and the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency. So you can find all this information online. They did an amazing presentation in the city of Hastings. That's why I know this. And what happened was the Environmental Pollution Protection Agency, the EPA, came in and said, hey, you have PFAS a while ago, right? Like in the early aughts. And we're like, all right, we're going to figure this out. And they are still studying what it does to your body. They also came in within the last decade and said, now the safe level is here. And then in March, they came in and said, now the safe level is here. And it's a couple parts per trillion of PFAS, which is like a drop of water in 20 Olympic-sized swimming pools. Like that is the level that is unsafe for our bodies at this point. What we're really concerned about are our smaller animals and our young children, because we know if a mother gives birth to a baby right now, that mother just transfers her level of PFAS, and the baby also gains it as they eat and drink and bathe. So long story short, there's a lot of unknowns, and we know that we don't want double life spans of PFAS in our kids. So we need to mitigate, but this is not the only issue we have in Hastings with clean water. We also have nitrates in our water because we are a big farming community. And that is something that is equally unhealthy, right? So we need to, our mitigation systems will take care of nitrates. They will take care of PFAS. It's like a big reverse osmosis system. And we'll have 3 of them around our city. And each individual station will use carbon to pull the chemicals out, and then we'll destroy that carbon somewhere else. So all of that is the process. And what I think we need to do in Minnesota, because like I said, we are studying it, we are taking care of our people. That is one thing that I adore about Minnesota. We have such a high quality of living, and we really take care of our residents, is that we have, we know more about PFAS in Minnesota than other states do. So I think within a decade, my projection is that other states are going to start studying this and having to take care and have to take care of this issue in their state. So hopefully we can build a strong model for how a state can actually provide access to clean water for communities all over, in communities in different plumbing areas, right? So my thoughts, Bruce, are that we as a state have more political power than a city does. So people have asked me a lot at the doors when I'm door knocking, why doesn't Hastings just sue 3M? And it's like, because we can't afford that, and it will take decades, and we won't know the outcome. So we might not get resources that way. And the state can do things like that. They can work with these wonderful companies that have been in Minnesota for hundreds of years, and these powerhouses that make Minnesota a great place to do business. And then they can work with them to figure out solutions long term to clean water access and environmental protection, right? I mean, this is not just about water. It's about good jobs. It's about healthy systems for our communities. And my idea is not to tax all of Minnesota to pay for Hastings clean water. That's not at all what I want to do. I want to use the political strength of the legislature to find resources for all of Minnesota. That was a long answer. Sorry.
That's okay. It's a big issue in your district, so I don't mind letting you talk about it. Is the federal government involved at all with that, or is it?
Absolutely. Yeah. Great follow-up. I mean, outside of the EPA being the reason that we have to build all of these mitigation systems, we have been working really closely as a city, to be very clear, with Senator Klobuchar's office and Congresswoman Craig's office. She's our congresswoman in the 2nd District, to find grants and a little bit of funding for clean water. They have been incredibly responsive and very supportive. The wheels of government do not turn fast, so it's not like we're going to see, and to be very frank, as a business owner, I feel like I need to say this too, the wheels of giant corporations also do not turn fast. So we know that we're getting a little bit of funding. We're really grateful and we're really encouraged by that, but it's not for a while, right? So we're trying to figure out, in the meantime, how do we only raise our water rates 10% so that we can have the resources to start the engineering and get it going. Because we also know, and for any of my current constituents who are listening, we also know that we don't want to build these in residential neighborhoods. We don't want to build these on city-owned property, which is our parks, right? So we're trying to find areas to actually build them and not break the bank, because to add multiple millions of dollars onto an already $70 million bill with $6 million debt service every year and $1 million maintenance every year, like that is a lift. So we're working really hard to keep this as a good project and a sustainable project long term. We will have to do some bonding for it, of course. And what we're trying to avoid is, which I'm on our finance committee, so I really do understand how bonds work. And I'm really proud of our healthy debt that we carry as a city, because we have an A++ rating for our bonding. And we try not to take on any more bonds than fall off every year. So we make sure that it's a cycle and we're not over bonding for things. And I think that's a good practice for me to take to the state government as well. So
just as a heads up, we got about 3 minutes left.
Oh my gosh, I've just been talking so much.
Well, again, that's, to me, that looks like that's the big issue in your district. So
it really is. Yeah.
So you got about a little less than 2 weeks left.
Yeah.
Before Election Day, what are your plans for the closing?
Days? Well, first of all, I have such an amazing team. My campaign manager, our field organizers, we're just getting out and connecting with as many voters as possible. We're really proud of the work that we've already done to get people interested in our campaign. The next step is to make sure they vote. So we're engaging folks and making sure they all have voting plans and making sure they all know where to vote and how to vote. And then I'll be door knocking all day on Election Day. And I'm going to, for the first time this campaign, really celebrate my small business. And I'm going to be down here with some live music that we have every other Tuesday. So that's not unique. We have a jam session every Tuesday where you just get to come and play music. So I just want to hang out with my friends and see my family and my supporters and thank everybody for all of their hard work the last, many months since February. I've been doing this. So
okay.
Yeah,
it's a big time commitment for sure.
It is. And I'm so grateful for anybody who can spare a moment and phone bank or door knock. And Bruce, that is near and dear to my heart. So
if somebody, wants to help you out, how do they get in touch with your campaign?
Ooh, I love that question. You can go to jenfoxforhouse.com and you could click donate. You could go to my calendar and find out when we're door knocking. You could come into the DFL office in Hastings at Mid-Country Bank and just see what we need. Come in and engage with our field organizers. They're really amazing, brilliant people who are making this ship sail.
So your opponent,
Yeah.
Is he a newcomer to politics?
He's never been elected. He's not new to campaigns.
Okay.
So yeah, if that answers your question.
Sure. So we got like 30 seconds left here. So
yeah.
So other than the water thing, what do you think are like some of the bigger other issues that are going on that you're hearing from people when you're out door knocking?
Yeah. I have a lot of teachers in my family, and I have a lot of educators as in my friend circle. We need more resources for teachers. We need to make sure that students have every resource possible to succeed and excel in public education. That's important to me, that we keep universal public education well funded. The other thing is small business success. That is obviously near and dear to my heart, right. But it is in my circles as well. Many of my friends are small business owners, and I believe that small business is the heartbeat of our economy.
Well, thanks for being on the show today, Jen, and good luck with your race there.
Thank you so much, Bruce. I really appreciate it.
Yep, you bet. Welcome back to AM 950, the Progressive Voice of Minnesota. This is the Politics Matters show, and I'm your host, Bruce Klopfleisch. So I hope you enjoyed today's show. I had the two live interviews, so I just got about a minute and a half here at the end. But so just kind of summarizing those, Philip Anthony, again, he has the Downright Upright show on AM 950 radio Saturdays from 5 to 6. So please check out his show, and if you can't listen to it then, check out his podcast. He's like one of the first guys I met at the station, and he's really knows his stuff, and he's really been helpful to me. So I thank him for that. And then Jen Fox, I got kind of her on my radar because my wife is actually one of the people that is door knocking for her. So that's kind of how I got there. So, I hope she pulls that out. The last election in 2022 was, I think she told me off air here that the difference was 419 votes. So I think she's got a pretty good shot at flipping that seat. So, again, thanks for listening to today's show. Hope you found it informative with the interviews. We will talk to you next week. Take care.